Cody Collier, how are you, sir?
I'm doing
Ra-
great. How we doing, Leonard?
We're doing great. Round three, GNCC race report. We are a little late on this, but hey, we're getting it in, and that's all that matters. Um, Talladega was a new event and a new place. You talked a little bit in the pre-race about it. After you were there and you got to see the whole facility, what did you think?
Before or after the event?
Both.
Before, like, just driving up, you turn on the road that you turn in to go to Talladega, and I've never seen a NASCAR stadium before, and just the size of it is a little awe-striking. It's a big stadium. That was really cool seeing that rolling up and coming in. And there's just a lot off to the right, just right across the road that we pulled in, and no, nice little piece of property. I was a little worried about parking. Whenever I first pulled in, I didn't know if it would have enough room, but I guess everybody stuck in there just fine. So seems like I got a little bit of room to grow there. So no, I went out and walked the track. It was really good. I was really excited for it. My first thoughts were, dirt's pretty good, but it's got a hard clay base here. I don't think it'll dig out too bad. And after the race, I was very wrong about that. It had good dirt, a good way down. So the track dug out pretty bad in a lot of sections.
Do you
But
think Do you think that in our pre-race, you mentioned that it was narrow and that passing was going to be calculated and you'd really have to be on your game for that. Do you think that they will allow the course to widen out if you guys race there for the next 2 or 3 years?
I hope they keep making new trails for the next 2 or 3 years as well. Not just run us backwards next year. So I hope that they add 5-6 miles next year. So just keep building on the property, building on what's there. We'll see what happens, but I hope they keep expanding on it, adding that new trail and keeping it tight. I know us 4x4s did a pretty decent job widening out that track in the 10 a.m. race. I had an off day. I ended up second place in my race, but no, just my last lap, I knew it was done, and I had probably over 50% of the XC1 race stop when I was walking the track and tell me to widen out the track for them. So my whole last lap, I was just taking every line I seen when I was walking the track, just widening out that course the best I could for them.
Nice, nice. I'm sure they appreciated it.
I'm sure they've seen it. A couple guys in the Gavin Jenkins in particular, but a couple of the 4x4 guys I got to talk to after the race were like, the last lap, there was all these crazy lines. They were awesome. And, it was hard to hit because the main line was pretty good. It was hard to run over all the tall trees and everything at race pace. So on the last lap, I knew I wasn't going to make up the gap to the lead, and I knew I had a gap on third. So really run in and made some lines, had some fun with it, made more racetrack for next year. Hopefully a lot of those XC PM guys got to see those lines and take them.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. What do you think the overall turnout was like there?
It was really good, dude. It was really good. Like I said, I didn't know if we would have enough parking, knowing how the event was going to be. Turnout was really good. It was stacked in the AM race as far back as you could see, really wide in the rows, pretty much took up the whole start, it seemed like. So it seemed like the field was deep for the AM race. I didn't make it up to the PM start, but there was a lot of action the first few laps. So a lot of people out there.
That's great. I brought up the youth results, and Kole Brandt won his second overall for the year. He doesn't have a huge point lead, even though he's got two, overall finishes in that class. Um, Bodie, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot even pronounce that.
Yep.
Buchanan.
Buchanan. That's Brian Buchanan's son.
Okay, Buchanan. Okay, he's been on the podium twice, in the overall, but he hasn't, got second or one, and he's got a tight points race with him going on there. So he's still right there. And you got Landon Galata, he's not that far back either. So those guys are looking like they're mixing it up quite well.
Yeah, no, Cole put on a clinic out there at round one, won pretty convincingly. Round two, I believe he had some issues, bad start. I don't know if he had bike issues or what, but not a good race. And then got the whole shot. Landon Galata ended up taking the lead at this past weekend in Alabama, and Landon ended up taking a pretty gnarly digger, from what I understand, and kind of hurt his pace for the rest of the day, shook him up a little bit. So hope he's all right. Hope he rebounds next round. But yeah, Landon passed him for the lead and was riding very well. But Kole had a stick get jammed up in a shifter on the first couple of laps, which limited his pace, but he was still able to hold Landon off for the most part till Landon did get him. And then once he got that sticker out, kind of walked away with it. From what
Wow. Those guys are already starting their battling in the woods at such a young age. Look out, XC1 and XC2. You guys are not, you don't even know what you're in for. These kids are coming and they're going to be riding quality machines and they're going to be super fast.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a sport. Hopefully, we set good groundwork for them so they can develop and be better than us. That's what we can all hope, right?
Exactly, exactly. Well, we don't want them too much better than us, you know. I mean, we want to keep ourselves around for a little while, right?
Yeah, no. I want the competition. I want someone there pushing me to be better, and bring it on.
Right on, right on. You know, as we get into the AM race, we're talking about you being a 4x4 pro guy, and you have Gavin Jenkins and Brandon Frazier and the whole cast of the other guys coming. You and Brandon seem to be putting on this, you guys are waging war with each other in that class, stretching it out. And I was hoping that it was going to be closer, but I was looking at some of the lap times. You guys seem to be on your own plateau.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. And when Landon was in the mix, it was us three. The big three. Landon, and Brandon, the Blando combo, I like to call them. But no, they were really fast, really good. Me and Brandon just kind of just kept that going. What the three of us had as far as pushing the pace and just keep pushing each other. No, it's really really cool to have that high level where we can race each other like that. And I'm doing what I can to help Gavin and Caden. I've ridden with both of them a few times, message them here and there, try to uplift them and everything. But no, yeah, no, me and Brandon are flying, that's for sure.
You had the lead early on, and what was going on out on the course?
Uh, the bike fell a little tight, just steering wise. I ended up hitting a tree and going into reverse, and I like to use the override button for reverse so it doesn't have the hesitation. I guess I hit it a little bit too soon, and it's the DPS button which changes the setting on your power steering unit, and I guess I knocked it into minimum right there. So
Okay.
smoked the tree on the first lap, pushing the pace, got back going, held the lead because I did it in a single track section, single track coming out of the field, so nobody could get around me. Smoked the right tree to hold the lead. Got back going. Had good pace, just didn't feel super comfortable. Brandon was all over me, and then I pitted, and he sprinted from there. I put on a really good ride, and I just didn't have nothing for him that day.
So it just seemed like it was his day.
No, I mean, I came ready to play. Just didn't trust the bike. Didn't know it was a minimum. I just felt something was off. That's not something that typically happens where I do. Just it happens, I guess. Just little fluke. So we'll be ready for round 4. I felt racy. I felt really good. Just didn't really trust the bike. It's hard to push the pace when you don't trust the bike.
Right on, right on. You know who had an amazing ride though is Gavin Jenkins, because early on in the day he was mired back in the back and he had to fight his way all the way back up into third.
Yeah, no, he third at round 1, was running third at round 2 pretty convincingly, and had a really good get off pushing the pace, which if you ain't wrecking, you ain't riding. So he's pushing the pace. He's trying to close that gap you're talking about, and yeah, no, he's doing really well. He would have got third at Florida had he not had that wreck. So he should have been on the podium all 3 rounds this year, if you ask me.
Well, he fought his way back up into third and held the pace and did really well, for that race. Because in the beginning of it, he was in sixth, then he was in fifth, then he worked his way up and got in there to third to finish on the podium. But he seems like he is wanting to catch you guys. Maybe he just can't catch a break early on.
No, he's picking away at it, man. It's tough, when you start out with the metaphor my dad liked to tell me was like, when you get started out, it's like climbing a ladder. The rungs on the ladder, every step's really big. You're flying up the ladder at first, and once you get closer and closer to the top, the rungs get shorter and shorter, and everything you learn, it's minimal, but it adds up.
Right. I kind of agree with that analogy. The faster everybody gets, the harder it is to make up time or to close gaps because they're just as fast, if not faster than you are.
Yeah, no, yeah. Say it's like if you absolutely perfected the track and it's a 30-minute lap time, and y'all running, 40-minute lap times. There's some time to be made up. But if the guys around you are running 32-minute lap times, it gets a little tougher.
Right, right, right. Um, anything that you guys don't race again for at least another week, right?
Right. It's a 3-week break this time.
Is that good for you or bad for you?
Uh, right. I'm ready to go racing whenever. I would go racing every weekend if they had it. But no, and they do, and I do that a lot. Been taking some time off the house, just doing my own thing, doing some riding. I got an open invite ride this weekend in Ohio at my parents' property. So if you're listening in the Ohio area or nearby and want to make the drive out, come on out. It'll be a good time. So open gates to everybody, quads, dirt bikes. It'll be fun.
You didn't send me a plane ticket.
Yeah, maybe next year, brother. Maybe next year. I'll have 4x4 for you and everything.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna need a plane ticket because I'm not gonna be able to drive there.
Yeah, no, that's a haul, man. That's a haul.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. The weather seemed to be pretty awesome for you guys when you were there as well. Uncharacteristically good for this time of year.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful in Alabama. It poured rain Tuesday night. Me and my wife stayed, Lacey stayed in a cabin in Alabama for the week. And Tuesday night, it just absolutely poured. We're probably an hour from the track. So I think it needed that little bit of rain, and it didn't rain for the rest of the week. And it was beautiful for the race. Probably 50s, 60s, cool, but not warm. So, once you got racing, the temperature kind of cooled you down, but it was good. Conditions were perfect. Dirt was cake batter. There was 2 muddy sections on the whole track. One of them was a creek that you crossed. So.
Right. Well, the bikes all looked good at the end. That's how I judge it, and every photo you see, it's sunny.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Not the same story for the bikes. It was brutal for the bikes. It poured Saturday night. But
Well, those guys deserve it, whatever.
now it's fun
Still,
now. It seems to trade year to year. Sometimes the bikes will have it 2 in a row for quads that here and there. But it seems like somebody's got a mud race 50% of the race of the year where the other ones didn't.
right. And you know what? It needs to cycle like that because if it was always mud, I know that I would be like, yeah, I'm done. I cannot deal with this all the time.
I'll just let the 4x4 dig.
Well, yeah, you would, but not me. The other AM race that we really like to watch is the WXC gals. They are having a fierce battle. But before we get into that with the top 3 and the points, I want to talk about Avery Collins. This little girl is on an underpowered machine, and she's been in 4th place each race. I noticed that when I was checking lap times, she wasn't in 4th for the whole race. She was farther back for a while, and she worked her way into that 4th place position. Maybe she had help, maybe she didn't, but she is, look out. You put her on a 450, what's going to happen to those girls in the front?
Yeah, no, she's young. She's picking away. She'll get stronger and she'll grow into it. So, yeah, no, you'd be surprised how powerful those 250 hybrids are.
I would.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised how well they can hang with the 450s. So it won't be the biggest transition in the world, but just some of that low end torque and just in the woods racing that we do, it does help here and there. But the 250 does very, very well. I'd love to get Mr. Bryce Pullen getting 2nd overall, putting it to me this past week in Alabama on the 250 hybrid.
Well, there you go. Well,
so,
yeah. What are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, they cooked, dude. Like I was wide open in the field right behind him, and I was on the 1,000 cc's and hardly pulling.
Wow, that's pretty amazing that they're that fast. But that whole class, Caitlin Osborne hasn't been having the season I think that she would want to have. She's not finishing up in the top like she has in the past. Andrea Rogers is starting to make her way back up in there, which this whole class is loaded. But those top 3 gals, we've had 3 winners in 3 races, and I can't remember as far back as I've been covering them that you had 3 winners in 3 rounds.
No, no, it's no. All three girls came to play this year, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did. That's
Yeah.
and they've kept it consistent. All 3 of them, well, except for round one. The last 2 rounds, all 3 of those have been the podium finishers. Is those 3 gals?
Yep. No, they're all hungry and they're all consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Elioff taking the second place uh, for 2 races in a row. She's still the points leader, defending champ. She's doing great. Hannah Hunter seeming to figure out the Yamaha and get it together because she's got a first, a second, and a third. And then there's Chloe that won so many races last year. She started early this year, got her first win. So maybe in round 4, you'll see one of these 3 get their second win for the year.
Yeah, yeah, and unless Kate or Avery or something step up. But no, I just want to shout out Hannah Hunter real quick. She got the whole shot of the race and was leading. And on the first lap or second lap, I'm not sure which lap it was, but Dayton Hickey wrecked pretty bad and got pinned underneath the 4x4. And Hannah seen him and stopped to help and dropped it all the way back to 7th place by the time she got back going. So it was probably the first lap. But yeah, no, shout out Hannah. People's Champ Award right there. Took a big hit on the race to help out a fellow rider. So very few people will do that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially when she was leading.
Yeah, yeah. And she herself flipped that 4x4 off of him. So
Well, Dynamite comes in small packages. I got to have Hannah in studio and I was impressed. She is a very small woman.
yeah, yeah. No, she's stout. She's she worked really hard for it. She's been in Florida training all winter, and no, she knows how to ride that thing, put it where she wants.
Yeah, very impressed. Very impressed. Um, you know, Beans that she was a wrestler in high school, so she has the adaptability and the strength that she can handle that machine. It's pretty awesome stuff, and especially hats off Hannah for stopping and giving up a race to help a downed rider. That's pretty awesome. You
Yep,
know,
and get back going
hopefully,
up on that podium.
yeah, and she still got on the podium. Let's just hope they do something nice for her, and take care of her, special award or something because uh, the points in that class, I mean, dropping those couple of points could make the difference between a championship or not.
Absolutely. No, me and the guys in the group chat were just talking about it. My racing boys group chat, we were just talking about it, and yeah, it's a tough call to make, but it's the right thing to do. It's tough in the moment, but no, very cool that she was able to do that.
That is outstanding. Great job, Hannah, and you know, awesome. Wow. Um, so was the other rider injured or just needed her help?
He's fine. I haven't heard anything, any major injury or anything. So I imagine Dayton's fine. Just got pinched and maybe was getting out of breath, or don't know how it landed on him. Just know he was in a position that looked bad enough that Hannah would give up the lead to help him.
Well, hats off to that young lady. I mean, that's somebody that if I'm laying out on the track, I want somebody like her to come and pick me up and make sure that I'm okay because I just want anybody to stop and pick me up because I'm generally going to be the guy that's crashing. So that awesome, awesome, awesome. That's so great to hear. Just when you think that, you know, you're not going to have that in that environment, and then you tell me that story. That's freaking incredible. You guys in the GNCC are awesome people and just keep it going, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if all of us would do that, but when people do, definitely want to shout it out. Yeah, no, very cool. I said in the group chat, I was like, I've never personally been in a situation where I have seen somebody where I felt like they were in harm on the race where I've had to stop mine, but I'd like to think I would do a thing like that.
Well, you know what? We may have been in a situation where we seen something, but it didn't register at the given moment, that somebody needed help.
Yeah, yeah, but she registered that it did and made the choice to stop. So they're
Exactly.
very cool, very cool. Shout out Hannah, still getting back up on that podium.
Yeah, that for her to fight back through in those conditions, yeah, stellar. Great job, young lady. Maybe I'll have to give her a call and tell her how proud I am that she did that. Let's go into the XC2 class. These guys, I've said it so many times that people are tired of hearing it. This has got to be the most competitive class I've ever seen. Any given rider can win on any given day. Well, I can't take that back. Unless Alex is racing, then maybe not any given rider can win because he seems to be wanting to win them all. He's got 2 wins so far this year. He's doing great. But I want to talk about a guy that I thought was going to do better right off in the season based on what we heard last year. He had 2 bad races in his first 2 rounds, and then he comes out and bam, second place on the podium. Logan Steele. Where did this come from?
Yeah, no, he's always had it. Just hasn't clicked from the first 2 rounds. Not sure what happened. Not sure what happened at him. Didn't talk to him. That's Ronnie Rush's buddy. So they do a lot of riding together. I've seen a lot of clips of him riding lately. So he's been digging. He's been working. Yeah, no, him and Jeremiah Wolf. I believe Jeremiah ended up third on the day. Correct.
Fourth.
Braxton did get him. That's right. Your West Coast boy did get him that day. But Jeremiah and Logan just walked away with it the first 2 laps. Alex was hungry. God was off. He was digging. Red in the face. He was getting all he had. Just ran them boys down. And not sure if Jeremiah had a get off or something, but Jeremiah dropped way back on that last lap. But Alex was coming. The boys were keeping him honest, though, putting the pressure on him, making him work for it. Yeah, no, Jeremiah was putting a great pace out front, and Logan was pushing him the whole way through.
James Galata did pretty well, too, with a 5th.
Absolutely. I was very impressed by that. I didn't see that. He chose to ride Sportsman at Florida, and ended up pulling off, I believe, during the last couple of laps. So, yeah, and then comes back out at Talladega and gets a 5th in XC2. So, fantastic turnaround for him. Keep it up.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that the difference between the Logan Steele of the first 2 rounds and this round come from the starting place, how he did on the start of the race?
I'm sure it's a lot of it. And when you're a young racer, it's hard to remain calm when you're in 12th place going into the woods, and you're watching the front 5 just walk you, and you start getting aggressive and making mistakes. And that's where a lot of the bad finishes come from when they have bad finishes. So just learn to remain calm, pick away, make the most out of your day, much like Alex did on that day. Picked all the way back. He was way back early and, ran them boys down. So, and that's your previous champion having that maturity, staying calm. Dominated round 1. Florida wasn't his day, made the most of it, still got on the box, and then comes out and earns round 3.
Well, that's what makes champions is digging deep and learning how to fight back. And it seems like he did. Alex, I've never met the kid, and I just think the world of him, even though I've messed his name up so many times. He probably will never speak to me if I ever do get a chance to meet him. These guys do so great. Andre Williams, he came in 6th. Round 1, Elijah was 2nd, and he was 7th this round. He seems to be bouncing around, a little inconsistency there, but these guys are so mixed up, and it's because there's so much talent.
Yeah, and like you said, the start's very, very big part of that. Andrew Banovsky got on the podium at round 1. He got the whole shot and was out front for most of the race. Got the whole shot in Florida as well, but had a bike issue. Jeremiah got a great, it's a lot of start getting that confidence early. But if you have that confidence from just knowing you got it or having that previous championship like Alex, you don't freak out when you get that bad start and work your way through.
Yeah. Do you see the influx of new class riders making an impact like it did last year with these guys, or even this year?
What do you mean?
When the new class rolls in from 2025, the riders coming into XC2, do you see them making as big of a splash as they did in 2024?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the rookies are great. I mean, Logan Steele was a rookie. He only raced Ironman and got on the podium. I count him as a rookie this year. Jeremiah Wolf, Elijah Edmondson. Braxton Gross is a sophomore this year.
And he's still kind of a rookie because he didn't grow up back there. He grew up on the deserts in California.
Yeah, he's very, very green to the art of XC racing out here on the East Coast, but he's a sophomore in the XC2 field out here. So he doesn't get that rookie status.
Right, right. Just green. I like the way you put that green. That, that makes all the difference in the world. Experience, experience, experience. Yeah, he's a great ATV rider, racer, but man, you guys have a totally different world back there with environmental things that you'll never run into out here.
Yeah, no, and you guys do a lot of different racing than we do, so it's just a little bit different worlds, and we're making the most out of each of them.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? Let's just roll into XC1 and talk about it because these guys, other than the front two spots, the class is just a mixture of finishes. Super competitive, super fast. Everybody's all over the map as far as where they've been finishing. Um, you know, Josh Merritt has been in a sixth and a ninth, and now he's third. He's in the podium spot. Put on a great ride from what I'm hearing. I don't know. I didn't get to see it. I saw some posts and a couple little things like that, but didn't really know how did the start break down for these guys. This is the only class that I didn't get to see, the lap times and where they were in the first lap.
Yeah, no, I got to watch him on the first lap. Walker was out front. I didn't get to watch the whole shot, like I said, but Walker was out front doing very well. B. Neal was P2. Hunter was right there. Then it was just kind of a mix-up. They kind of shifted positions the first couple of laps, but lap 3 came around out of 4 laps, and it seemed like it was Bryson, Walker, Hunter. No questions about it. And then Josh just ran them boys down. So Josh put in a clinic. I don't know if Walker had a little bit of an issue or got held up by a lapper or something where Josh was able to make up the gap he did, or if Josh was just on rails. But Josh made the pass for second at one point on that last lap, and Walker got him back in the last couple of corners.
That old Wiley experience, huh?
Yeah, put the pressure on the young gun. But yeah, no, he made something stick.
Right. It looks like Bryson Neal's. You can't say he's back into his groove, but with 2 back-to-back wins, he's looking like he's trying to dig that groove again.
If you've seen him, you would know he's in his groove.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, gnarly.
Yeah, he's fast.
Just hit this like where I was standing. There's just like this. I was sitting in the FMF PowerPoint watching the PM race after the first couple of laps, and there's just this downhill right-hander off camber, and there's a tree on the outside, and where the roots were, they kind of dug out and then hit into that tree root and then flattened out for the next corner. Bryson was the only one wheeling to flatten out his bike over that tree root. He was the only one in the whole race that wheelied over that tree root. Just little things like that, just that half second there, second here, the fraction of a second there, just adds up. And he's just doing those little things.
Right. Just a notch above. That's why he's the guy out front.
Yeah, he's just doing those little things. See, it's the biggest part is knowing to do them, right? If you're limited to your knowledge, so
right,
supposed to do them is making himself do them.
Exactly. Well, it seems like Hunter Hart's, got things figured out because he's starting to move himself back up through the field, being third in points, and he's got 2 fourths and a sixth. It's good to see Hunter back, with us and going the way he should be, as always. You know what? I don't want to leave this guy out because we don't get to talk about him very often. But Brandon Owens put in a ride because he got 5th, and that's one of the highest finishes we've seen out of this young man. So that's pretty great, that he's doing that well.
Yeah, no, and that's not his ceiling at all. He's very talented rider. Got a lot of potential. You just gotta smooth out a few parts of his game, harness that raw, wild talent that he's got, and put tires to the dirt.
Let me ask you some questions, and I'm not calling this guy out because of any other reason than I think he's very, very talented. And Grayson Eller, we talked about him so much last year in the XC2 class. What do you think's going on in his head right now? Because he's a front runner in the XC2 class. He's battling with that. He's out there, and now he's running at the tail end of the XC1 class. What do you think's going through his head now?
He's getting eaten alive by the front runners of the XC2 class too. Like the front five, I think every race has passed him at least. So it's tough being with the XC1 guys and not having that confidence. You're just watching, if you're not too paced, you're just watching these guys walk away from you and you're racing for 15th. It's a very tough spot to be in. Like we've talked about before, I personally didn't think he was ready to step up. I think he needed one more year to harness his game. Just from what I had seen, and this is what I kind of feared. It's part of it. It's he'll figure it out. He'll get better. But it's definitely part of it, and it's tough.
You think it's the emotional transition is affecting him? Is that's where this is at?
It's all mental. I don't think it has anything to do with emotional. It's just knowing you're stepping up to the big leagues and knowing it's going to be tough. I don't know what his training program was like or anything. If he knows he was slacking, that's in his mind, and that's affecting him. If he did put in everything he had to his training, and they're still putting it to him, that hurts even worse, So I don't know Grayson's program all that well, but no, I feel for him. Just he'll figure it out for himself. He knows where he's lacking. He's going to start picking away at it. Just a new world he's in. Instead of being the guy winning, setting pace with all the confidence, winning those XC2 races, battling for race wins, now he's the guy pulling over for different guys in XC1 class, and just so he's not holding up their race.
Do they do that? Do the guys that are a little bit slower, a little bit off pace, move over for the front runners?
If you have any respect between each other, yes.
So if you don't respect those guys, you hold them up.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So if you have respect for the guy that's coming up behind you with pace, you're going to pull over. Hopefully, cue off their pace. But at least that's the way I was and the way I see it. And that's how it happened with some riders and not. Some of us see it the same way in the XC1 class, and others didn't. So.
I want to ask you about a little touchy subject, just to see how the pits are going. I mean, there was a little bit of a dust up in round one. Has everything smoothed out and everything okay now that the 2 rounds are under everybody's belt? Has that pretty much went away?
I think it really affected Josh. Wasn't his intent. And the fact that so many people took it so negatively is wild to me personally, but I get it. No, it definitely messed with Josh. Just him racing, and then people saying all these hateful things about him, and it's tough. I know it messed with him immensely. You've seen it in Florida, and then he's been working, he's been digging. I guess he blocked it out, and found his piece with it, and came to play at round 3. So I think Josh has rebounded from it. Adam's still salty. It's just the way he is. He's going to be petty about it. So he's going to sell bumpers. He's going to make T-shirts. He's going to make a big scene out of it. It's just how Adam is. But Adam's going to be salty. Adam's going to probably rub him a little bit when he gets the chance for the rest of their careers, unless they can truly smooth it out, which I don't think they have yet.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bummer that I like both of those guys, and I really think the world of Josh Merritt, and I think he's super talented. Really enjoyed the conversations I've had with him. It's a bummer because he's a nice kid, and Adam is it's Adam McGill. Dude. What more needs to be said, right?
Yeah, I've had my group chat again. We've had the talk. It's if that was the other way around, we think both of them would react almost identical to how they reacted. It's just which seat were you in when that happened?
Okay.
The attacker or defender, and we kind of think that they would both have very similar things going on, equally and oppositely.
Maybe. I just think the fans needed to stay out of it. But there's such a big following for you guys. And, you're talking about Adam McGill, one of the guys, he's generated a whole community that follows him. That some of them aren't even involved with racing. So it's unfortunate that they reacted that way to Josh. I don't think.
When you post a video of you getting blocked, when you get blocked past and then post a reel that says with the song "I'm a Survivor," it gets people ruffled up over a block pass.
Yeah, but he did get DQ'd for his freaking behavior.
That's
You know,
that's after the fact. We're talking about the racing incident, not the
right,
no,
right,
that's what I'm here for.
right. I totally agree, bro. I totally agree. I still disagree with their decision, but that is what it is. So where are we going next?
On Camp Coker, down in not Union, South Carolina, Society Hill, South Carolina. Union, South Carolina is Big Buck. Yeah, Society,
Okay.
South Carolina, beautiful property down there. It's a sports clay shooting range. They have beautiful ponds and all sorts of outdoorsy activities there when they're not racing.
It does get rough, correct?
Absolutely, it's on the eastern side of South Carolina, so that's on the ocean side of South Carolina. On the western side of South Carolina, same like North Carolina and stuff. You start getting into the clay of Georgia and everything, like Union, South Carolina. That's why it's clay based there, and then Camp Coker is sand.
Do you think we're going to see some bad weather?
Uh, I don't know. We're due for it. I think we're due for a mudder. Camp Coker is muddy here and there. I think it'll be fun. I could do a mudder for Camp Coker. Honestly, I could go for one. We're due for one.
Wow. Okay, I want it clear and nice for you guys, but if it's a mutter, we'll deal with it. Okay.
We're due for one. Coker's fun when it's muddy. So
Okay.
it's Coker's sketchy when it's fast. It's very sketchy because it's Florida whoops with Ohio roots. It's pretty sketchy when it's dry and you're running that pace.
Yeah, but that's what makes it exciting, right?
It gets your heart pumping. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's
I don't know if
our
you guys have seen the video of me and Landon both of us landing completely sideways coming into a field section out of the tree line. Yeah, no, it gets a little sketchy. You get a little sendy out there when you're trying to push pace.
I saw this is off topic, but I saw a picture video, I think it's of you in the whoops doing great, and then it goes into a jump section where the trail just drops away from you as you come off of this out of this section in the sand. You're in the trees, sandy road, and you just launch that 4x4 down the road. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I misjudged that one. No, for sure. No, not one of my. It's definitely on my low light reel.
You didn't need to
I
do that?
tried it the first couple of laps, and I was like, I'm gonna hit it. Why not? And I thought it was more of a ski jump, and it had a little bit of lip to it. I just totally misjudged it.
Yeah, but it was great. It looked good.
Huh?
It looked good.
Woo, yeah. No, yeah. Did you see how the corner I blew by 20 feet?
No, I didn't see that part.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's messed up in a fortunate spot to mess up.
Hey, that's always works out, right?
Yeah, I guess so. No, it's yeah, no, part of it, not my brightest moment, but no, landed smooth, custom axle suspension soaked it like a charm. Just where I landed on the throttle a little hard, I actually blew apart my clutches.
Oh, so
They lasted just long enough to finish the race. The last 2 miles, it was slipping really bad.
wow. Fortunate that nothing bad happened.
Oh yeah, just grenaded a clutch. That's all.
Wow. Well, hey, parts are replaceable, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I knew it was going to be a hard hit. I landed loose arm. If you watch the video real slow, my right arm blows off the bars because it was the one that took the most impact. I held her straight with the left. So it was a good hit. I flat landed it very, very hard, and the bike soaked it up. Like I said, axle suspension soaked up that 800-pound machine hitting the ground way harder than it ever should. And all I did was made a clutch.
It looked good from where I was watching.
What is it? I'm sorry.
It looked good where I was watching from.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I see all the little things.
Well, that's okay, brother. Hey, you know what? We'll catch up with you in 2 weeks in South Carolina.